Morgan Freeman's Symphonic Blues Experience arrives in Toledo on October 30th and performs with the Toledo Symphony Orchestra. Joining me now to discuss the upcoming event is Executive Producer Eric Meir and Oscar-winning actor Morgan Freeman. Welcome to both of you. So good of you to join us today.
Thanks so much.
Our pleasure.
So Eric, the Toledo performance at the Peristyle is part of your nationwide tour, which is being billed as where the soul of the blues meets the magic of the symphony. I love that phrase. Where did the concept for the Symphonic Blues Experience come from?
You know, it was just kind of a amalgamation and sort of a why not kind of question. I had seen a hip hop band out of Australia do something akin to this with the Adelaide Symphony, and got a chance to meet with them in Seattle when they came to play, and spent a lot of time with them, and went back to Morgan and Howard Stovall, our third partner, and we talked about it. We prototyped this in 3 cities, which was in Savannah, Georgia, Dublin, Ireland, and just outside of Salzburg, Austria. And the concept really was pretty straightforward, is how do you mix these two genres that people would say, what are you doing? Can this really work? The short answer is yes. But bring this to audiences that couldn't get to Clarksdale. And so it's as much of a kind of a music cultural tour as anything else. I think Morgan is, always kind of reminding me, it's not necessarily considered a classic music tour. It's more responding to interest. And so we partnered with an amazing agency called Park Avenue Artists out of New York City. And they went ahead and got a lot of interest with symphonies that they've worked with in the past to bring this really unique performance, which is a combination of blues fused with symphony, an incredible narration by Morgan that's done in a cinematic capacity, and then also video storytelling.
That's us.
I know you're referencing Clarksdale as the Ground Zero Blues Club, which we'll get into in a little bit. I want to ask you about that. Morgan, you want to talk about your involvement and what sparked that interest?
Years ago, before we started the club, my then partner, Bill Luckett, who since passed away, we were working on a restaurant. And across the street, we see these young, obvious backpackers. And Bill, being hail fellow well met, walks over to them and wants to know what, are they all right? What do they need? Are they looking for something? And they said, where can we hear some blues? Well, there were blues musicians there, but there was no genre. I mean, there was no place for them to play. What was the word I'm looking for?
There was no venue, right? There was no
venue. Yeah, and so that's ridiculous. So we had to plug that gap, and so that was the inception. We found the building, created this juke joint, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah,
so bringing the Mississippi Delta blues to Toledo, describe what the audience can expect to see and hear.
Well, there is the original concept of the Delta blues. It's just guys singing the blues, playing a blues guitar, electrified now, and the what's different about it is that they're doing that with a symphony orchestra in cahoots. It doesn't sound like a good mix, but it turns out to be an excellent mix. So we're presenting it. It's no point in sitting on something that exciting. So we've got a lot of interest from the time we started, and we're just pressing on.
Well, I loved seeing and listening to clips of the symphony playing B.B. King and Ray Charles. I, maybe it doesn't sound like it would work on paper, but watching it was extraordinary. I loved it. I thought it actually moved me just watching those clips. I can't wait to see the actual performance. In fact, you have a guitarist, Anthony Sherrod, and I was struck by his quote, anyone can play the music, but you have to feel it. Is that what you're going for?
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
so I'm a ukulele hack, Brian. So I'll spare you what I can do. But when I go up to Anthony, who likes to go by Big A, like every good bluesman has their handle or their nickname, he always kind of takes my hand and puts it on my heart, you know. And I think what's kind of interesting is getting to know and work with Morgan. There's a lot of analogs. I think when Morgan would counsel me as he learns a role and he can speak to it, just the importance of touch and connection, and whether it's music or acting, you know, it's all part of it.
Morgan, do you play or sing? Do you do anything musical?
I yeah, I guess I've sort of been. My mother played the piano. When we were in Mississippi, she would go around with these let's call them circuit riders. These preachers that would go out into the country, those little churches, and preach. She played the piano. That's my first induction. Then in school, I was with the high school band, played saxophone. And then, of course, in the 60s, I picked up the guitar, learned how to play it in a day or so, and was doing the folk thing. So I have this thing with music, like I guess most of Americans do, or most humans do. Uh, I appreciate it. I'm glad to have my part in it. And now, thanks to Eric, uh, primarily, we've got this occasion to keep going, to get deeper, and that's I think that's where I'm at in terms of music and the blues. Uh, uh, I like music. People say, "Oh, what kind of music do you like?" So I like any of it,
Hey,
except
Brian.
opera. Maybe I can't get a handle on opera.
Yeah, Brian,
Okay.
I don't know if you saw,
Yeah.
but Morgan graced the world with Al Green for New Year's on stage, which was cool. It was a bucket list item for not only probably Morgan, but for a lot of us. And you know, it's just good, right? It's a way to connect people. And I think if we do our job, my hope is after the concert, you'll come up to us and say, you know, you got a better understanding of the music, better understanding of the cultural impact of the music, but hopefully you will have had a great time.
I think it unites people, music. I mean, it is kind of the universal language, right? It can transport you to a different place. And that leads me to my next question, which is about the visual elements. You have, as I understand it, you'll have a large screen there with elements. What will the audience be seeing?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just to complement the storytelling. I mean, if we do our job effectively, you will have enjoyed a music and a cultural event. And we were very focused and intentional on making sure that the visual piece kind of helps fill in the story of what was going on, the time this music was written, culturally, historically, but also kind of marries up with thematically the narrative of the music itself.
Oh, that I don't know, to go back to at least to the 30s. The music itself goes back to the early 20s. Um, this particular genre of the blues. This is what we call going back to the crossroads. Robert Johnson.
And keep in mind, Brian, Morgan narrates this, so the connective tissue here is Morgan storytelling what's going on. So I think, again, for those that are not close to this part of American or history, music history, Morgan provides that thread.
And in addition to the Toledo Symphony, you've got your own group of musicians traveling with you. They'll also be performing. What do they bring to the table?
Blues. These they're actually Delta born, Delta raised, Delta taught. So they're authentic and not like old blues singers. I always think of them as being kind of late aged and ripened, but these are fairly young. And what we're hoping for with the foundation is to continue to encourage youngsters to carry on this style of music, this soul music.
Which brings me to the Ground Zero Blues Club in Clarksdale, Mississippi. It's a relatively small town, about 14,000. What makes that venue special?
Say that again, Brian?
What makes that venue in Clarksdale so special?
Well, over the years, I think it has become a sort of shrine. And I don't know if Brian just said that. We've been talking all day, but on any given night, particularly on the weekends, we might have a third of the populace from local, a third from around the country, and a third from out of the country, from foreign lands. We used to have flags of all the people who came to visit, and they would bring their own flags. There are no open spaces on the walls because everybody comes signs something somewhere, post, wall, floor, anywhere they can get a place to sign their name. So that's part of what it is. So there were hundreds of thousands of names because they cover almost every surface of the club. And that's I think of it now as a sort of shrine. I just love the look of the building, and when I get to go there, I have that same feeling of this is it. This is where we belong.
Gives you a thrill, doesn't it? I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, it's a living shrine, right? So this is not meant to be kind of a stop historical. I mean, it is from a impact, but we're open 4 nights a week. We've had a number of venues. It's been filmed by everyone from BBC to 60 Minutes. But most importantly, I think one of the things that Morgan has really articulated the criticality of keeping this place authentic. And so someone asked me, how do you not turn this into Disneyland? And I say, walk into the men's room.
Well, I think you're really going to enjoy the Peristyle at the Museum of Art. It really is a terrific venue, as we talked about before we started our interview here. It sounds to me like neither of you have visited Toledo before. Is that correct?
I came to look at an old car there years ago. I spent way too much money buying old BMWs and trying to think I could fix some and they would never break down. And so I actually went to Toledo to look at an incredible old Beamer that I finally wisened up and said I'm not going to do that. But no, that was a one stop, and then my roommate from school is from Canton, so that's the closest. So I do look forward to kind of getting a chance to see the city, and obviously, you know, growing up as a young kid watching MASH and, you know, hearing about what is it, the Toledo, is it the Mud Hens or what was the
Mud Hens and Tony Pacos, and of course, Jamie Farr, who
right.
is
So
our
I mean
favorite son.
yeah, so that was my exposure. So no, I think my working knowledge of the city is probably below what it needs to be. So I'll look forward to doing that.
I
And I
don't
saw,
have
Morgan,
many.
that you were at the Pasadena Playhouse, and Jamie started there too when he went to California. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I have not been to Toledo, but I have worked in Columbus, and of course, Shawshank was filmed in Mansfield. I didn't
Right.
come out of Pasadena Playhouse. I came out of Los Angeles City College. I went there for about
Oh.
20 minutes, and
Well, then my information and research was wrong. I apologize. Let me
right.
ask. You brought up Shawshank, and I wanted to ask you, because I'd be remiss if I didn't, a little bit about the films. Uh, Morgan, again, my research indicates more than 100 films that you've participated in.
So I
You
hear.
have taken. I'm sorry.
I said, so I hear.
And your roles have included the President of the United States and God Almighty. That's pretty rarefied air. Do you, Eric? Let me ask you: do you have a favorite Morgan Freeman movie?
He's not going to like my answer, but I like Ted too.
I like your answer. I like if
Okay.
you like anything else, then that's good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, Ted 2 was great. Obviously, Driving Miss Daisy, but I'm a big fan of, you know, the Ted 1 and Ted 2, and it was awesome to see Morgan in that. I have another funny story that um, there's a fellow that is portraying Morgan on voicemails, which and a buddy of mine had that, and I played a prank on him and had Morgan leave him a message once, and politely or impolitely telling him that shouldn't be on there. So that was some fun runs. But if have you seen Ted 2, Brian?
I have not.
All right. Well, when you've got a, you know, an empty Thursday night, you know, you might want to stream it. Watch Ted 1 on a Wednesday night, then a Ted 2 on a where Morgan's in it.
I will do that. And Morgan, same question for you, Morgan. Do you have a favorite Morgan Freeman movie?
I did 3 movies with Clint Eastwood. Those are 3 of my favorites. Invictus, um, Unforgiven, and Million Dollar Baby.
Yeah. And Morgan, I never told. I think my
Gene
pop.
Hackman was with you in Unforgiven. I'm sorry, Eric. Didn't mean
I
to
was gonna
cut you
say
off.
my
You got a
pop.
little
I think
more.
my dad volunteered when and he knows that, you know, I'm having the pleasure of working with Morgan on this project, and he just volunteered. Million Dollar Baby was his favorite of all time.
I will tell you without you asking that Driving Miss Daisy from 1989 was my favorite, and of course it won Best Picture, so I have good taste. And Morgan, of course, was nominated for Best Actor for his
Yeah.
portrayal in that movie. Is there anything else that I haven't covered that you think is important for our listeners or readers to know?
Well, I would encourage anyone that has the opportunity to join us, do it. I mean, I think it starts with you, Brian. You're going to be there, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. All
Good.
right. Well, I am not quite the spokesman that my partner is, so I'm going to say what he said. We'll be looking forward to our stay there in Toledo and looking forward to seeing you there.
Thank you. I can't thank you enough for your time and your generosity in sharing these stories and words with us. Again, Morgan Freeman's Symphonic Blues Experience with the Toledo Symphony Orchestra takes place on October 30th. That's a Thursday, 8 p.m. at the Toledo Museum of Art's Peristyle. There is a pre-concert Q&A, and all that information and tickets are available at symphonicblues.com. And of course, you can go to the Toledo Symphony Orchestra's website as well. So thank you, Executive Producer Eric Meir. Good to be with you. And Morgan Freeman, wonderful talking with you. Thank you so much again.
And Brian,
And you, Brian.
just to be clear, Morgan is an executive producer as well. There's three of us. It's Morgan, myself, and Howard Stovall.
Terrific. Thank you for that clarification. We'll look forward to seeing you in Toledo, October the 30th. I'm Brian Trauring for Toledo City Paper and WSYL.